Hey everyone, just wanted to take a few minutes and talk about shared drives in Google Drive. I'm sure many of you already have some experience with these, but just in case, in talking to Dustin, we thought this might be something useful if some of your departments or grade levels might not have one set up yet to think about putting together. So here I am in Google Drive, and over on the left-hand side, a couple of years ago, they introduced this little piece right here that says shared drives. So when you click on that, if you see anything in this central screen, these are the shared drives that you have access to, okay? But you also have the ability to create a shared drive, and that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through the steps and explain how it works, how you want to set it up, sharing, that kind of stuff, and what the whole point is. So as long as you have that highlighted, you've selected or clicked on shared drives, when you click on new, it's going to ask you, what do you want to call this new shared drive? So I'm going to call this one Demo for Curriculum Network. And create. Okay, give it a second, and it pops me automatically into my new shared drive. Now, what's the point of a shared drive? Well, a couple major things. The biggest being that unlike documents or files or folders that live in my drive, anything that gets put into the shared drive is kind of like its own person. It becomes the owner of anything that you put in there. So the benefit there is, let's say, I'm in social studies, and I share a whole bunch of files with one of my colleagues, and then I leave the department or I leave the district or whatever, and my account gets suspended. Anything you have in a shared drive, you don't have to worry about people losing access to those files if you leave for whatever reason, because that drive is going to continue to exist, and it's its own thing. It's the owner of anything that's put in there, so you don't have to worry about those things going away or people losing access. So it's a great way to share resources, to share files and things like that, and again, not have to worry about what happens to them down the road. So when you create one, let's say you're the department coordinator and you want to invite your department members to your drive, we can just over here on the right hand side click where it says Manage Members. This little dialog box pops up, and then I start adding people. I'm going to add the fake staff member. Okay. When I do this, what I need to decide is, what kind of permissions do I want them to have in this drive? What do I want them to be able to do? Okay, and you'll see that I have all of these options. Okay, so the kind of lowest level is viewer. So if I make someone a viewer in a shared drive, pretty self-explanatory, but they can just look at stuff. They can't move anything around. They can't edit anything. They can't delete. They can't add anything to the drive. All they can do is just look at the drive. If I make them a commenter, again, same general thing. They can't add anything to the drive. They can't delete. They can't move anything around. But what they can do is, in a file, they can add comments, and that's it. All right. And then here they start giving you the descriptions underneath. If somebody's a contributor, they can add and edit files. So you can add files to the shared drive, and once the files are in there, you can edit them no matter who's added them, no matter what the files are. You can edit them if you're a contributor. Major things that you can't do is you can't move them out of the drive, and you also can't delete the files. Okay, so keep that in mind. Next one would be Content Manager. So Content Manager, again, now you can pretty much do anything with the files. So when it says there, add, edit, move, and delete files, by move it also means move them out of the drive. So it doesn't mean just between folders in the drive. It means you could take a file out of the drive and move it into your own drive, so then you become the owner of it, and it's no longer accessible to the people inside the drive. And then the last one is Manager, which again, all of the same stuff as Content Manager, but now you can also invite people to the drive, you can remove people from the drive, and you can also manage the drive settings, which I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, so you'll go ahead and add your people, and you'll decide whether you want to use this to notify the people. Just as a side note, not really related to the shared drive piece, but just on a related note, when I share things through Drive, I usually do not choose to use this. I usually send a follow-up email myself. There are a lot of people who have, because of the number of people that share things with them, the number of students who share things with them, they have filters set up so that those sharing notifications skip their inbox, they get archived, they get deleted, whatever. So you probably don't necessarily want to rely on those to let people know about the shared drives. You might want to uncheck that box and go ahead and send them an email after the fact. So I'm going to go ahead and click share. And now if I click members, you'll see, again, I could always come in here because I'm a manager, because I'm the person who created it. I can always come in here and I can change somebody's settings after the fact. Okay. Now, as far as the drive goes, if I now click next to the name here, you can see I've got a lot of different things that I can do. I can change the theme. I can, make it colorful, nice, whatever. I can rename it if I needed to do that. But also let me show you the shared drive settings. So if I click on that, this is where we may want to make some changes. If the things that you're sharing in your shared drive are files that might be confidential or sensitive, then one of the things that you might want to do is uncheck that box. Viewers and commenters can download, print, and copy files. If you just want people, if you're putting something in there and you just want them to be able to see it, you may want to uncheck that box. Keep in mind, is that foolproof? No, of course not. People can still do screenshots, they can take their phone out, take a picture, whatever, but it is, at least you're taking the step to try to preserve the confidentiality of whatever it is that you're putting in there. Okay? People who aren't shared drive members can be added to files. So what that means is, I may not make you a member of my shared drive, but there may be a specific file in there that I want you to have access to. As long as that box is checked, I can still open that file, click on the sharing button, and give you access to that one particular document or that one particular folder. And then the last one up here is people outside Malone Central School District can be added to files. So again, same thing. I can open up a file, click the share button, and even if it's not a maloneschools.org account, I can add somebody to that. Okay? I'm going to click done. So again, just like you would normally, you can now, once you're in that drive, you can go ahead and create new folders. You can create files while you're inside that drive. The other thing you can do is you can take things out of your own drive and you can move them. So if you grab a file down here, okay, and you can move that and drag it into that shared drive. One of the easiest ways to do that is use that little triangle to expand your view of your shared drives. There's the one I just created. Let me find one that's not shared with anybody else. Here's one. So I'll click and I'm going to, I don't want both of them, I want that one. I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to drag that into the demo. Here we are. Demo for Curriculum Network, and I let go. And it's going to ask me, everyone can see Demo for Curriculum Network will gain access. So it's telling me anybody who's in there is going to get access, and that file is not going to be mine anymore. I'm not going to be the owner. So if I go ahead and move that, let me come over here to the Demo for Curriculum Network, so we now can see there's that file that I just moved. And if I click on that and I hit sharing, you'll notice that now there's no more owner listed. Instead, I'm an editor, Fake Staff's an editor. There's no owner listed because, again, this is in a shared drive. Okay? I can still add other people, and I can still change link sharing, okay? But I'm not necessarily going to be able to do much else with that file. I mean, I will be able to, because I'm a manager. I can, create a new folder, put it in there. I can move it around. I can also, if I need to, for some reason, I can take it, drag it back out to my drive. And it's saying, do you want to remove it from the shared drive and make yourself the new owner? And I say yes, and now it's not in that drive anymore. It's over in my drive. Okay? All right. So if you have any questions on shared drives, anything you're concerned about, or need help getting started with one, just let me know. Thanks.